Hello friends, welcome back to i-TUTOR NCERT series. Today we are going to discuss Class 12 Geography NCERT Fundamentals of Human Geography Chapter 3 Human Development. So first of all, we need to discuss what is growth and development. Look at this. Both growth and development refers to changes over a period of time. The difference is that growth is quantitative and value neutral. It may have a positive or a negative sign. This means that the change may be either positive, that is showing an increase, or a negative, that is indicating a decrease. Okay, so that is called growth. What is growth? It's a quantitative and value neutral. Now, it's a positive or a negative sign. Then the chance may be either positive or negative. So that is called growth. Now what is called development? So development means it's a quality change. Okay, so it's a qualitative change which is always value positive. So development is a qualitative change. Growth is a quantitative change, but development is a qualitative change. This means that development cannot take place unless there is an increment or addition to the existing condition. Okay, if there is an increment or an addition to the existing condition, then what happens? Then development happens. The development occurs when positive growth takes place. Yet, positive growth does not always lead to development. Development occurs when there is a positive change in quality. Okay. Now, for example, if the population of a city grow from 1 lakh to 2 lakh over a period of time, we say the city has grown. However, if a facilities like housing, provisions of basic services and other characteristics remain the same, then this growth has not been accompanied by development. Okay, so if the population increased from 1 lakh to 2 lakh, then we can say the city has grown. But still the facilities like housing, provisions of basic services, these are the same. Then what we can say, that is the growth has not been accompanied by the development. Okay, so the development is not happened there, only growth is happened. For many decades, a country's level of development was measured only in terms of its economic growth. This means that the bigger the economy of the country, the more developed it was considered. Okay, so once we considered the economic growth only for the measurement of a developed country. So the developed country in the sense the development of a country. So this means that only the bigger the economy, okay, in which country have a bigger economy, then they are called a more developed country. Even though this growth did not really mean much change in the lives of most of the people. The idea that the quality of life people enjoy in a country, the opportunities they have and the freedoms they enjoy are important aspects of development is not new. Now, these ideas were clearly spelled out for the first time in the late 18th and early 90s. The works of two South Asian economists, that is Mahbubul Haq and Amartya Sen, are important in this regard. Okay, so these two scientists or these two economists, they are important in this regard. That is Mahbubul Haq and Amartya Sen. The concept of human development was introduced by Dr. Mahbubul Haq. Dr. Haq has described human development as development that enlarges people's choices and improves their life. Okay, so Dr. Haq described human development. Okay, so he described human development as development that enlarges people's choices and improves their lives. People are central to all development under this concept. Okay, so under this concept, the people are central to all development. These choices are not fixed but keep on changing. The basic goal of development is to create conditions where people can live meaningful lives. A meaningful life is not just a long one. It must be life with some purpose. Okay, so what is called a meaningful life? It's not only a long life. It must be a life with some purpose. Okay, so a life with some purpose, that is called a meaningful life. This means that people must be healthy, be able to develop their talents, participate in society, and be free to achieve their goals. Leading a long and healthy life, being able to gain knowledge and having enough means to be able to live a decent life are the most important aspects of human development. Okay, so these are some of the important aspects of human life. What are they? Leading a long and healthy life, being able to gain knowledge, and having enough means to be able to live a decent life. Okay, so these are some of the important aspects of human development. Now, therefore, access to resources, health and education. Okay, so access to resources, health and education. These are some of the key areas in human development. Sustainable indicators have been developed to measure each of these aspects. Okay, now, so we know the access to resources, health and education. These are some of the key areas. Okay, these are some of the key areas in human development. Now, very often people do not have the capability and freedom to make even basic choices. This may be due to their inability to acquire knowledge, their material poverty, social discrimination, inefficiency of institution and other reasons. Okay, so there are many reasons which even people cannot take a basic choices. So this may be due to their inability to acquire knowledge, their material poverty, then social discrimination, inefficiency of institutions and other reasons. This prevents them from leading healthy lives, being able to get educated or have means of live in a decent life. Okay, so they restricted from these things. Okay, from leading healthy lives, being able to get educated and to have means to live a decent life. Building people's capabilities in the areas of health, education and access to resources is therefore important in enlarging their choices. Okay, so building people's capability in the areas of health, education and access to resources. So these are very important. If people do not have capability in these areas, their choices also get limited. For example, an uneducated child cannot make the choice to be a doctor because her choice has got limited by her lack of education. Similarly, very often, poor people cannot choose to take medical treatment for disease because their choice is limited by their lack of resources. Okay. Now, the 4 pillars of human development. So what are the 4 pillars of human development? Just as any building is supported by a pillar, the idea of human development is supported by the concept of equity, sustainability, productivity and empowerment. Okay, so these are the 4 pillars of the human development: equity, sustainability, productivity and empowerment. Equity refers to making equal access to opportunities available to everybody. Okay, so what is called equity? It refers to making equal access to opportunities available to everybody. The opportunities available to people must be equal irrespective of their gender, race, income and in Indian case caste. Okay, so we should avoid these things, that is gender, race, income and caste. Okay, for the opportunity selection. Okay, so the opportunities available to persons must be equal irrespective of gender, race, income and caste. Yet this is very often not the case and happens in almost every society. Okay, so but this is not the case and happens in almost every society. For example, in our country, it is interesting to see which group the most of the school dropouts belong to. This should then lead to an understanding of the reasons for such behavior. In India, a large number of women and persons belonging to socially and economically backward groups drop out of the school. Okay, so in India, what happened? People from economically and socially backward groups, they mostly drop out from the schools. This shows how the choices of these groups get limited by not having access to knowledge. Now, so that is the equity. Second one is sustainability. Sustainability means continuity in the availability of opportunities. Okay, so sustainability means the continuity in availability of opportunities. To have sustainable human development, each generation must have the same opportunities. Okay, so to have a sustainable human development, what should be done? Each generation, they must have same opportunities. That is all environmental, financial, and human resources must be keeping in mind the future. Misuse of misuse of any of these resources will lead to the fewer opportunities for the future generation. Okay, so that's why we focused on the sustainable development. Okay, we should keep something for our future generation. A good example is about the importance of sending girls to school. If a community does not stress the importance of sending its girls children to school, many opportunities will be lost to these young women when they grow up. Their career choices will be severely curtailed, and this would affect other aspects of their lives. So, each generation must ensure the availability of choices and opportunities to its future generation. Now, third one, productivity. So, productivity here means human labor productivity or productivity in terms of human work. Okay, so what is productivity here? It means human labor productivity or the productivity in terms of human work. Such productivity must be constantly enriched by building capabilities in people. Then ultimately it is people who are the real wealth of nations. Therefore, efforts to increase their knowledge or provide better health facilities ultimately leads to better work efficiency. Okay, so we know the people are the wealth of a nation. So we should effort to increase their knowledge or provide better health facilities for better work efficiency. Okay, so that is called productivity. Okay, now empowerment. What is empowerment? It means to have the power to make choices. Such power comes from increasing freedom and capability. Good governance and people-oriented politics are required to empower people. The empowerment of socially and economically disadvantaged group is of special importance. Okay, so these are the 4 pillars of human development. Okay, so first one, equity, then sustainability, then productivity, and finally empowerment. Now, approaches to human development. There are many ways of looking at the problem of human development. Some of the important approaches are the income approach, the welfare approach, minimum needs approach, and the capabilities approach. Okay, so these are the 4 approaches. First one, the income approach, then welfare approach, basic needs approach, and the capability approach. What is income approach? This is one of the oldest approaches to human development. Human development is seen as being linked to income. The idea is that level of income reflects the level of freedom an individual enjoys. Okay, so here the idea is level of income. How many income they have, then that much freedom they get. Okay, that is the idea they have. Now, higher the level of income, the higher is the level of human development. Okay, so that is the income approach. Okay, income approach consisting higher the income, then higher the human development. Now, second one is welfare approach. This approach looks at human beings as beneficiaries of largest of all developed activities. The approach argues for higher government expenditure on education, health, social secondary and amenities. Okay, now people are not participating in development but only passive recipients. The government is responsible for increasing level of human development by maximizing expenditure on welfare. Okay, so in welfare approach, they focused on the welfare programs, that is the education, health, social security, amenities, etc. etc. Okay, so that is inside the welfare approach. So here the government should focus on the welfare and the peoples are not the primary recipients. Okay, so they are only the passive recipients. Now, basic needs approach. This approach was initially proposed by the International Labour Organization, that is ILO, International Labour Organization. 6 basic needs, that is health, education, food, water supply, sanitation and housing were identified. So here they focused on the basic needs, that is food, education, health, water supply, sanitation and housing. The question of human choices is ignored and the emphasis is on the provision of basic needs of defined sections. Now final one, capability approach. What is capability approach? This approach is associated with Professor Amartya Sen. Building human capability in the areas of health, education and access to resources is the key to increasing human development. Okay, so these are the four approaches which make the human development. Now, measuring human development. The Human Development Index, that is HDI, ranks the countries based on their performance in the key areas of health, education, and access to resources. These rankings are based on a score between 0 to 1 that a country earns from its records in the key areas of human development. The indicator chosen to assess health is the life expectancy at birth. A higher life expectancy means that people have a greater chance of living longer and healthier lives. The adult literacy rate and gross enrollment ratio represent access to knowledge. The number of adults who are able to read and write and the number of children enrolled in schools show how easy or difficult it is to access knowledge in a particular country. Okay, so this is the way to measuring human development. Access to resources is measured in terms of purchasing power, that's in US dollar. Each of these dimensions is given a weight of 1 by 3. The Human Development Index is a sum total of the weights assigned to all dimensions. The closer a score is to 1, the greater is the level of human development. Therefore, a score of 0.983 would be considered very high, while 0.268 would be mean a very low level of human development. Okay, so a closer a score to 1, okay, a score near to 1, that is considered as the best or greater level of human development. So the score 0.983 is considered very high, but at the same time 0.286, that's considered very low in terms of human development. The Human Development Index measures attainments in human development. It reflects what has been achieved in the key areas of human development. Yet, it is not the most reliable measure. Why? Because it does not say anything about the distribution. The Human Poverty Index is related to the Human Development Index. This index measures the shortfall in the human development is a non-income measure. The probability of non-surviving till the age of 40, the adult literacy rate, the number of people who do not have access to clean water, and the number of small children who are underweight are all taken into account to show the shortfall in human development in any region. Often, the Human Poverty Index is more revealing than the Human Development Index. Okay, so the Human Poverty Index, that is more revealing than the Human Development Index. Looking at both these measures of human development together gives an accurate picture of the human development situation in a country. Okay, so looking at both these measures, that is Human Development Index and Human Poverty Index, together gives an accurate picture of the human development situation in a country. The ways to measure human development are constantly being refined and newer ways of capturing different elements of human development are being researched. Researchers have found links between the level of corruption or political freedom in a particular region. There is also a discussion regarding a political freedom index and a listing of the most corrupt countries. Now, international comparisons. International comparison of human development are interesting. Size of the territory and per capita income are not directly related to human development. Often, smaller countries have done better than larger ones in human development. Okay, so the size of territory and the per capita income, they are not directly considered, okay, or they are not related to human development, because often small countries, they have done better and larger ones in human development also. Similarly, relatively poorer nations have been ranked higher than richer neighbors in terms of human development. For example, Sri Lanka, Trinidad and Tobago have a higher rank than India in the Human Development Index despite having smaller economies. Similarly, within India, Kerala performs much better than Punjab and Gujarat in human development despite having lower per capita income. Okay, so the Kerala have a lower per capita income considering of Punjab and Gujarat, but they have a higher, Kerala have a higher Human Development Index. Countries can be classified into 4 groups on the basis of human development scored earned by them. The first one, level of human development, first one they are very high, that is above 0.800. 69 countries are above very high rate. Okay, above 0.800, that is very high human development. Second one is high, that is between 0.700 to up to 0.799. 49 countries are there. Now medium, between 0.550 to 0.699, that is 42 countries are there. And finally low, that is below 0.550, that is 33 countries are there. Countries with very high human development index are those which have a score of over 0.800. According to the Human Development Report 2023-24, this group includes 69 countries. Okay, so according to 2023-24 report, there are 69 countries are above, or they score above 0.800. High level of human development group has 49 countries. Okay, so the second one is high level. They contain 49 countries. Providing educational and healthcare is an important government priority. Countries with higher human development are those where a lot of investment in the social sectors has taken place. Altogether, a higher investment in people and good governance has set this group of countries apart from the others. You will notice that many of these countries have been the former imperial powers. The degrees of social diversity in these countries are not very high. Many of the countries with high human development scores are located in Europe and represent the industrialized Western world. Yet, there are striking numbers of non-European countries also have made it to do this, okay, or to this list. Now, countries with medium levels of human development form the largest group. There are 42 countries in the medium level of human development. Most of these are countries which have emerged in the period after the Second World War. Some countries from this group were former colonies, while many others have emerged after the break of the Eastwell Soviet Union in 1990. Many of these countries have been rapidly improving their human development score by adopting more people-oriented policies and reducing social discrimination. Most of these countries have a much higher social diversity than the countries with higher human development scores. Many in this group have faced political instability and social uprising at some point of time in their recent history. Okay. Now, as many as 33 countries record low level of human development. Okay, so there is 33 countries, they are inside the low level of human development. A large proportion of these small countries which have been going through political turmoil and social instability in the form of civil war, famine or high incidence of diseases. There is an urgent need to address the human development requirements of this group throughout policies. The international comparison of human development can show some very interesting results. Often, people tend to blame a low level of human development on the culture of people. For example, X country has lower human development because its people follow Y religion or belongs to Z community. So such statements are misleading. To understand why a particular region keeps reporting low or high levels of human development, it is important to look at the pattern of government expenditure on the social sector. The political environment of the country and the amount of freedom people have is also important. Countries with high levels of human development invest more in the social sector and are generally free from political turmoil and instability. Distribution of the country's resources is also far more equitable. On the other hand, places with low level of human development tend to spread more on defense rather than social sector. This shows that these countries tend to be located in areas of political instability and have not been able to initiate accelerated economic development. Okay, so this is about the chapter. If you have any doubts, you can comment below. For more videos, do like, share, subscribe.